As a white person, how George Floyd changed the world. So, I just learned that my family is pretty racist. I know what you're probably thinking. How did you not know this already? That should be something pretty obvious, right? And to that, I have to say, you're right. Whenever one of my family members said something that I thought was even remotely questionable, I never bothered speaking up. I never understood why it would be such a big deal, because there were only ever small comments, never anything overtly violent or wrong. What's the harm in that? Well, now I see that all this time I was afraid of speaking up because I didn't want to create uncomfortable situations between myself and my family. It was too hard, and they didn't mean any harm. Some of them were too old to learn something different anyway. What could I possibly do to change them? This is a harmful way of thinking. All that time I was focusing on my own discomfort without even imagining how uncomfortable a person of color must feel whenever they hear someone making racist comments about them. I was able to make the choice to stay silent because I was shrouded in my own bubble of safety and privilege. I've never had to worry about people treating me differently because of the color of my skin, so I've hardly taken the time to picture what that might feel like. But I've chosen to make a change in myself. I've chosen to speak up and fight for a better world, and I want to start with my family, all because of a man named George Floyd. On May 25th, 2020, the cops were called on a black man who was accused of attempting to pay for something with a counterfeit $20 bill. It's not really a crime worthy of calling the cops in the first place, but either way, this store owner decided to do just that. The videos of the incident show the man being complicit. He never fights back. He never does anything wrong. And then suddenly he's on the ground with a police officer hovering over him. There's a knee applying pressure to his neck and another knee pressed hard into his back. 3 other cops stand around emotionless and immovable. The man on the ground begged the cop for his life. He asks him to get off, begs for his mother to come and save him. He weeps openly and cries for anyone to help him because he knows the cop intends to kill him. He tells the cop very clearly that he cannot breathe. And yet he is pinned for a total of 8 minutes and 46 seconds. For roughly 3 of those minutes, he's completely still and unconscious. This man was George Floyd. George Floyd was murdered by the police for attempting to purchase something with a counterfeit bill. What's even worse is that he's not the first black person to die like this, at the hands of a brutal police force. Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Breonna Taylor, so many more who have not been discussed publicly or captured on video. These people all meant something to someone, and criminal or not, they didn't deserve to be ruthlessly killed for their actions. No one deserves to have their life suddenly ripped away from them like that. In just one day, George Floyd made me infinitely more aware of the world around me. I was disgusted when I watched the video of his death, and I felt suddenly, and for the first time, that the police might not be as trustworthy as I was raised to believe. Despite this, I didn't bother talking about the case with my parents or my siblings. I think part of me just wanted to forget that I saw something so gruesome in the first place. And another part of me was scared to talk to them about my feelings. My uncle is a cop, and I never heard of him doing anything bad before, but what if he hurt someone like this without me ever knowing about it? But then the protest started, and I heard my parents talking about it one night after dinner. They were in the kitchen doing the dishes while I sat in the living room, glued to my phone, scrolling through Twitter at rapid speed to consume as much media as possible. I was amazed by the bravery of the protesters. Even when facing down a line of militarized police, they stood firm, and they remained peaceful, as always. It was horrific seeing the cops shoot rubber bullets and fire tear gas at innocent civilians. So when I heard my mother say, "I can't believe the state of the world we live in. These thugs think they can do whatever they want and get away with it. It was just one bad cop. Get over it." And then my dad, "It's always been like this. The cops do their job, then the blacks take the streets and destroy whole cities. It's revolting. Someone's got to teach them a lesson." My stomach churned with anxiety. Is that really how they felt? Were they not seeing what I saw online? The cops were in the wrong here. But also, these were my parents. My parents aren't bad. So why would they say these things? That night, I went to my room and began educating myself on the ways of anti-racism. I looked up ways to confront family and talk to them about how their beliefs could be harmful to others. I researched previous incidents of police brutality against Black people. Then I decided to talk with them. Honestly, the talk didn't go well. But I'm not giving up. Not ever. Silence is violence, and I refuse to stand by and allow hatred to rule our society. I'll continue talking to my parents. Continue learning. There is a small protest in town tomorrow, and I'm going to go with my friends to peacefully demonstrate against injustice. I will make a difference. Please take action. Visit blacklivesmatters.carrd.co for petitions to sign, places to donate, and ways to educate yourself and others. Tell me what you think and how you feel in the comment section below.